So, welcome to my talk, Challenges and Success Factors for Software Engineering Leads in the Retail Industry. Short facts about me: I studied computer science, then I worked for Siemens, developing the mobile internet, which is in fact the foundation of our mobile commerce today. Then I switched to the German Institute for Standardization, worked on digitalizing the standards, delivering them to customers on various formats. I worked for Cornelsen, and finally I arrived at Schwarz Group. And this is maybe my first question. Who knows in the audience about the Schwarz Group? Just raise your hands. So I would say 50-50. So then I will make it a little bit short. So Schwarz Group, all of you might know Lidl and Kaufland, but who of you know that we not only have the retailing part, we also have the production part. So we do produce our own bread, chocolate, ice cream, beverages, and because we produce a lot of waste and we use a lot of resources, we also thought about our recycling business, which is actually also a very strong pillar now, where we get the resources we need to produce those bottles 100% on recycling base. But what you need nowadays for retail is a strong digitalization unit, and last year we founded the Schwarz Digits. Of course, we were on the market already, but not visible outside. Now we are Schwarz Digits, and we have several companies which are under that umbrella. So the first thing is the Stacked Cloud, which is our reliable and also GDPR-conform cloud, which is run in German data centers. We have XM Cyber, which was acquired recently, which do cybersecurity services for our cloud, but also for other hyperscalers. So if you want to make sure your infrastructure is on the highest security level, then you can use their services. But we also deliver electronical and also e-commerce services like the Lidl online shop, the Lidl loyalty solution, Lidl Plus, and also we do this with the Kaufland marketplace, which is our very, very strong business now, and also the Kaufland card, which is our loyalty solution for Kaufland. And who could survive e-commerce if you don't think about retail media services? So Schwarz Media is our retail media offer to support brands in pushing their products to the market. And of course, we have a huge customer base, so we have a lot of touch points with customers. We can also suggest customers to buy products on that campaigns. We do have a digital experience service company called Make, and we also have the Schwarz Digital, which is driving the digital transformation for our various businesses. And last but not least, the Schwarz IT, where I'm working in. This is a unit which covers already 3,500 people, and we are actually the ones who implement all those store solutions, e-commerce solutions for the Schwarz Group. So now to my topic about the software engineering challenges and success factors. On the first place, I want to give you a glimpse how does this team or this process of developing e-commerce solutions look like. We are running products, and those products are very autonomous teams. That means we have a product owner, which usually controls from the business side. This is usually someone from Lidl e-commerce. Then we have the business analyst, which is supporting the product owner in translating the stories from the business view to the developer view. And then, of course, we have the developers, usually a lead developer, and also front and full stack developers in our teams. And if necessary, we also attach an agile coach to make sure that the agile flow of the development is working properly. So then what kind of products we do? Just a short overview. We have thousands, but these are some products I also have developers working in. So it's a Lidl online shop. It's completely self-developed. We have AI applications for quality improvements, quality assurance for our production appliances. And we also have like normal portal solutions where we deliver for our business units their communication to the outside world. Then apps, we do, for instance, the Lidl flyer completely from Berlin, and also the Kaufland flyer, which is our digital version of our leaflets, and the Lidl online shop and recipe portals for the international countries we roll out. What is a software engineering lead actually doing? Usually, software engineering leads come into play if you make software. It's not that you buy software. Then a software engineering lead is not in charge. So according to Gartner, the software engineering leader is leading, innovating, optimizing software engineering to drive digital business. And how does it look like? Actually, I have the responsibility for the developers in the different teams. This is not only one team, but let's say 5, 6, 7, 10 teams. And the main challenge is how to make those teams successful. Yeah? And this is what I want to talk about, because software engineers in the teams do face a lot of challenges. And this can be boring tasks, interruptions they face, non-user-friendly tools they have to use, poor code quality, or time pressure, or even changing requirements during the development process, frequent context switches, cognitive load, which they have to understand, technical depths they are faced, and architectural complexity, poor onboardings, which then also lead to missing domain knowledge. And last but not least, I mean, there are a couple of other challenges a software engineering lead has to face, but also hardware issues could be something. So my hypothesis for today is the most important thing a software engineering lead has to care for is to provide an optimal developer experience to its developers. According to Gartner, 78% of organizations have already a formal or a DevX initiative established or planned. That means it's a real big trend in the industry, not only in retail, of course, but especially in retail. And to a 2020 McKinsey study, companies which provide the developers with a better developer experience are 4 to 5 times more successful than their competitors. So therefore, it's proven that the developer experience will have a big impact. So what means developer experience? So developer experience takes into account how effectively and how productively a developer can do his very best work on any given project. Another part of the developer experience is the impact a developer can have by having an idea and putting it into production. And the last, but also not the least effect, is the satisfaction. The satisfaction is about how positively or negatively a developer examines his working environments, his workflows, his tools, and that defines his satisfaction, and you should, as a lead, always care for his satisfaction. There are 3 pillars or 3 dimensions of developer experience which you can use to drive and to improve the developer experience. This is according to a paper from Abinoda. The first part is the feedback loop. The faster your feedback loop for the developers are, so that means the faster they get response on what they deploy to production, the faster they can change the course on the development. The next is the cognitive load. The cognitive load is about the mental processing required to perform a task. That means the minds of developers are limited. So you can't just overload them, and the lower your cognitive load is, the lower the complexity the developer has to understand to perform his task, the more tasks he can perform in a given time frame. And last but not least, the flow state. This is more or less the mental state in which a person is performing an activity which is fully immersed and feeling energized and is full of involvement and enjoyment. This is the last pillar or dimension of the developer experience, and this is how you can tweak the different factors which influences the developer experience. So when it comes to influence developer experience, and this is what we want to do as a leader, we should take a holistic view of the developer journey. So when you know this term from retail already, like you have the customer journey, you have the user journey, but why not applying this pattern to development, software development? And that would mean, for me, the developer journey already starts if you hire your developers. Yeah? So that means you have to care for the hiring experience. The next phase the developer is usually in after he started is the onboarding phase. This means you have to care for his onboarding experience. And the next then is the working experience. Yeah? And last, or not last, but other factors which do impressions and positively, negatively influence his experience is learning and career opportunities you have to care for. Because developers start in your company, but they also want to evolve and to improve and to gain more responsibility. So you have to have a plan for that as well. And last but not least, the leadership experience, which is actually what you as a leader do for the employee, that he feels trust and is, let's say, emerged with your product, etc. Okay, then I want to come into details a little bit. This is all my experiences I was faced in the last 5 years. So you always should hire the best. That means not hire rock stars, because rock stars usually make others feel miserable. This is my experience, and I could only recommend, don't hire the rock stars, only hire the best, because you have to mind the cultural fit. The new joiner has to fit into the team. And then do, of course, developer assessments that you, let's say, get a glimpse on how is his mindset, how is his ability to solve problems, and hire hungry and open developers, which means also you should hire mindset rather than achievements. Select carefully, take your time, and interview with respect, because this experience, how you treat your developer already in the interview, will make his decision whether to apply or to take the job or not. Respond fast. This is also very, very important. You shouldn't take too much time if you have to come to a decision if you hire the developer or not. And you should talk openly. And finally, find talented and enthusiastic developers which love what they do. This is actually my experience in the hiring experience. And the next factor is the onboarding experience. Of course, if a developer comes to your team, you should always do a welcome to the team session where you introduce him or he introduces himself, and then you should provide the developers with a good, timely support, strong developer community. Developer community is a really important fact, because a developer don't want to be separated from a group of people. And that means if you have a strong developer community, he already feels that he can ask questions to the community, he gets answers fast, and this will improve his onboarding experience dramatically, but also later his learning experience. A good thing is also to assign mentor and buddies to new joiners, and don't forget to transfer the domain knowledge. That could be that you do trainings, or you introduce the products which are in the domain, that they know, okay, also the interfaces of the product. And of course, you should make sure that his communications channels are set up, also his developer environment is set up properly, that he has the right access permission, the right the rights to do his work. This is a really crucial point because you will lose a lot of time and a lot of productivity if you don't have this process in place. And as a lead, always get to know your developers, not just from the application, but also later on making a self-reflection with them. What are their motivators? What are their demotivators? What is their plan for the next 3 years? And this you have to take into account if you lead them, because leading them means also to guide them and to see opportunities where those developers can grow. The next factor is the working experience. You as a development lead, you are responsible to remove the friction the developer is facing and also to remove the inefficiency. That means you should provide the developers with the best tools and the best processes for software development. And of course, you should also allow a smooth and simple cooperation and communication, and you should avoid also context switches for the developers. Make sure that he can really work on the task and not get distracted too often. Then we should automate whatever is possible as a developer for the developers to offer self-services that they can help themselves. Maybe it's a good idea to introduce a developer platform, an internal developer platform, which is abstracting also the complexity a developer needs to know to deploy to production. That means the cloud knowledge, cloud abstraction. Maybe the developers nowadays have to face a lot of technical details how to deploy to the cloud. And that means often that the developers cannot really focus on what they do best, and this is solving the problem and developing software. The next success factor is the learning experience. Learning experience means, for me, and I found a very nice quote by Richard Branson, train your people well enough so they can leave, but treat them well enough they don't want to. And what does it mean? You should also do development planning. You should do knowledge management, organize how the developers document their software. You should also offer training opportunities for your developers. And you should define mentors, buddies, coaches, whenever they have a problem to support them. For learning, I found a very, very interesting rule. It's the OSF rule, which means 70% of your learning should be on-the-job learning. 20% should be learning from others, from communities, from buddies, mentors, and only 10% is a formal learning like certification. Usually we focus on certificates, but I think it's not the right way. They should really learn on the job. The next success factor is the career experience. Career experience means you have to execute with the developers a yearly performance management. What does it mean, performance management? It means that you have goal setting, you have progress checks throughout the year. So you have to also talk to your developers periodically and also to get feedback and annual review for the developers. Then you have to identify for yourself what are the key positions, the key players in your team, and also the unsung heroes. The next is allow movement for developers. Don't let them work in a product for too long. Even if it's nice and productive, you should offer also opportunities to take part in initiatives. Offer career paths. You might identify leadership principle or leadership talents. Then you should also support them in a leadership career if you see that, even if that means that you will lose a developer. And then, last but not least, the success factors leadership experience are be a leader rather than a boss. This is what I can tell you. Collect timely feedback from the stakeholders periodically. Lead by example. Appreciate your developers. Trust your developers. And avoid micromanagement, really important fact. And lead the change you want to see and inspire and empower your developers. And share visions from the management because they have to know where we want to go. Key takeaways, if you look after your staff, they will look after your customers. And this is done by providing an optimal, good developer experience. Think of the developer journey. Think about the talents because they should love what they do. Finally, onboard the developer appropriately, provide the good learning opportunities, continuously improve the working environment for your developers, don't micromanage them, collect timely feedback, and finally, stay current as a lead. Listen to podcasts, blogs, newsletters, wherever you can. I have a last slide here for that. Some examples of the podcasts I'm listening to. And you can come back to me, connect via LinkedIn, then we can exchange those resources. And I have to say, get on board. If you scan the QR code, we have 300 more than 300 open positions in the Schwarz Group. And connect to me if you want to have more details or just ask questions after the talk.
I really feel that this is like a very powerful message you send out. Avoid micromanaging, be sensitive, be empathizing. So what are, like you mentioned a lot of factors. What do you think are the most important ones for successful teams to perform well?
Think about the experience a developer has. So improve the experience, and then the user experience the developers have to develop is automatically good. And also, if you have stuff which develops nice user experience, you will also have a nice customer experience.
I like that analogy. So, like, give them what they should produce in a certain way, and. There is theory and there's reality. In reality, there might be, I don't know, as you said, you mentioned cognitive load, fragmentation at work, that you get a lot of interruptions. But then on the other hand, you mentioned it's important to have a good feedback loop. So how do you balance that out, especially also with the new change in work environments with remote work, home office? Like what is the best trade-off between feedback, that's my question, between feedback loops and not interrupting?
That's really a good question. And actually, when COVID happens, so we were supposed to be from one day to another to work from home. So we all was facing that challenge. And for us, it wasn't that big deal, even if we did not do it in the past so frequent. But it was really important for me as a lead, for instance, to align also with the other leaders. This was something which wasn't so good organized before COVID. Actually, for me as a lead, which is leading from Berlin and our headquarter, you have seen in one picture the picture of our new headquarter in Bad Friedrichshall. It is like there is already a distance, and remote work was already part of our daily work. So it was really important. We introduced a daily, with all the leads to align on leadership topics, what we have to care for, maybe what information we need, and similar things the developers do. But not with me, but with their teams, because they work, as I said, very autonomously in the team, and that means that they really are not, let's say, have to come to me to know what they have to do. They should be self-sufficient, and this is the task, actually, what you have to face and to challenge and to achieve.
I try to summarize, did I understand it correctly? Like ensure daily touch points to align and then let them do what they can do best.
Yeah, maybe when it comes to feedback loops, talk to the product owners, talk to the stakeholders, how they, what's their experience with the developers, and this you should do periodically, because you have to also give feedback timely to the developers back. So if they did well, they should know about, because usually not so much people collect positive feedback, but for me it's really important also to collect the success stories, to have a nice annual review at the end of the year.
All right, I have one more question about the future of retail software development.
Yeah.
So what are the trends that you see or the developments that you foresee in software development, especially for like with the focus on the retail sector?
I mean, the opportunities will be endless in the future. So we have that big trend with generative AI, where we can have a completely new working environment for developers. When you look at Microsoft or GitHub's Copilot, which is integrating more and more of its AI services into the workbench, there you can get already algorithms, test suggestions how to test your software. Even if you check in your code, you will get already comments generated. What did you check in? And so developers' productivity will dramatically increase by using those kind of tools. And the task of software engineering leader is also to make sure that your people, and this is on one of my slides already mentioned, uses the best tools and the best processes. It means that you offer also those kind of tools to people to make them more productive.
So to use also like productivity AI tools that fit into the whole approach of enabling the perfect development experience for your team.
Actually, if a developer is productive, he is very, very satisfied, because developers want to deploy code and to be productive. I never saw a developer who is satisfied who isn't productive.
They're happy with the work itself, not because you tell them, oh, that's this great job. But nevertheless, an important thing to tell them this is good and this is bad. But your experience is like that, especially developers feel already so closely related to the product that they want to make the product good.
Yep.
Then this is a wonderful, nice conclusion of the talk. And thank you very much, Holger.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to the audience. Yeah, see you in a couple of minutes for the next presentation. And,
thank you for having me.
Thank you. And we have a little present for you.